How's it going, guys? Today I brought out another Derringer to mess around with, and no, it's not another Bearman. Okay, it's actually going to be pretty good. Check it out with me. So I have this Bond Arms Grizzly in 410 and 45 Colt, and I've already shot this thing a couple times, and like I said before, it's not a Bearman. This thing is actually a good firearm. The hammer on it is crisp. Boom. The trigger is just as crisp, and it shoots like a dream. So this Bond Arms is just like any other Derringer. It's a two-shot single action that you have to manually cock the hammer on there in order to fire it, and then it'll alternate barrels the second time that you cock it. So it swings open just like any other Derringer, but this one's actually a lot easier than most. You don't have to swing this rod all the way down. You just pivot it a little bit, and it's spring loaded, so watch, you can see it naturally do it. It'll pop up by itself, which is pretty nice, and obviously you guys can see that it's not loaded for a demonstration anyway. And you can see the ejector is very rudimentary, the same, but this one is also going to be spring loaded. As you can see right here, you can push out, and then when you go to push the shells back in, the spring moves back and forth. And after you load it up, it locks up super easy. You don't even have to manipulate the rod again. Now this Bond Arms is way easier in the hand. It's a lot beefier in the grip, and I do like that it's got the trigger guard on there too. A lot of the other ones don't have that. I am thankful that this one does. That way you can't accidentally bump the trigger or whatever. But anyway, this one actually, I probably would carry this as a CCW gun because it does cock just fine. The trigger does pull just fine. No problems. It loads up really simple, and on top of it, it's got some good stopping power with that 410 and 45 Colt. If you chose to use one or the other in both barrels, that's up to you. I would prefer to alternate a 410 in one barrel and then a 45 Colt in the other barrel. Now, due to its size, it is still a little bit of a thumper, but it's really not that bad. Now, you can kind of expect that out of a Derringer, and you got a little bit of power coming out of it, but it's definitely a lot more manageable than you would think. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off at about 5 paces, 5 yards, and see how the sights are on this thing. Now you can see it's actually got raised sights with that rear notch on there. So I'm wondering if this is actually going to be more point of aim than any other Derringer that I've tested. This is definitely the most high quality that I have. I think I'll start out aiming center, and if it starts going high, then we'll adjust from there. So let's get her loaded up. We're going to start off with 45 Colts. Pop it open. Grab these 200 grain pills. Put them in there like this. Swing it on over. Locks right in. And there's 2 shots right there. This one was just above point of aim, and that one shot low. So let's try another 2 shots. All right, so that wasn't bad. Let's get this thing loaded back up. So let's push that down right here. Cant that up. Take the shells out. Press that ejector. One and 2. Ready to go. So off the rip, we're seeing a pattern already. First barrel, second barrel. So the top one seems to go closer to point of aim. This one went left, and the bottom barrel seems to go low. And it did that with the first 2. So just for kicks, let's go ahead and go back to about 15 yards and see how well it does. It's not doing terrible. Actually a lot better than expected. The one going low, I guess I'll have to compensate for that. But if I can get decent hits on target at 15 yards, I'm going to go after those 2 swingers. Obviously the other pasties flew off, but if I'm not mistaken, these are the two new hits. So the two barrels are actually closing in more the further out I go. That's kind of interesting. So let's make an attempt at these swingers. Kind of curious how hard that one's going to be. I'll just have to try and compensate. One goes high, one goes a little bit low. If you compensate right, you'll hit them no problem at 15. Now for some easy shooting. Got these 410 number 7s. I already know these are just going to blast the living crap out of the target, but it'll be fun to do it. Well then, that had a different result than I expected. The rifle barrel sent those BBs all the way at the Kingdom Come at 15 yards. So let's bring it in. So let's do it up at 5 yards. This ought to make a little bit of a difference. I kind of didn't expect the spread to be like that. But we'll see how it does. So at 5 yards, that peppering is what we're looking at. So let's get down to brass tacks. It's about a 5-yard gun. It's a belly gun. There's no mistaking that. We all know this, that it's a belly gun. So let's give it a go with a defense loadout. A 410 shot shell in the top barrel, because that'll be your first one. And then follow it up with a 200 grain slug from a 45 Colt. So this is what we're looking at as a defense loadout. It works out pretty good because you can get off 2 quick shots fairly easy like you just saw. Now at 5 paces or any closer, you're just going to pepper the living crap out of them with that 410, but that's not likely to be lethal at all. But it's plenty enough to stun Johnny Bad Guy trying to rob you. So follow it up with that 45 Colt. That's going to go a little bit low. Yeah, that's going to work out pretty good for a self-defense situation. So that's kind of what we're looking at as far as general purpose goes for this gun. Target shooting, I don't know why you would with a Derringer. Now I'm having a little bit of problem ejecting those shot shells. I don't think it really likes those ones. A little bit of muscle will do it. But Derringer's not really target guns to begin with. Self-defense guns, it's a little bit of a different story. Like we just saw with that last demo. I mean, it'll put a dent in a bad guy. Can you hunt with this thing? Let's throw some clay birds in the air and see how those shot shells do. It kind of did it, I guess. I guess it'll kind of work for super close, super slow birds on the wing. Maybe let's try out snakes and such. I guess really close snake and a really close rabbit. Alright, I guess that's it. I kind of had a lot of fun playing with the Derringer here. It's kind of a limited use gun. This is not a go-to for hunting. It's not a target gun, but as far as a belly gun goes, it might work. Maybe get a different holster though than the one that comes with it. It's a nice looking holster, but the darn sight keeps hanging up on it. I took like 7 takes trying to do that drop. Well, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Holler out in the comments if you want to see more Derringer action, I guess, or anything else that you might want to holler out for. Don't forget to check out our friends over there, Workaday Custom Gun Leather, custom made to order. Go ahead and check them out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your buddies. Until next time.